Hello, everyone. Carmine from New York here, professional photojournalist here in Manhattan since 1973. And we're here today to say thanks to Takumar Kajiwara. Let's go. Hello, everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Carmine from New York, professional photojournalist here in Manhattan, New York City, USA. Since 1973, I'm a working professional photographer for all of New York's magazines, newspapers, and websites, being a freelance photojournalist for over 50 years. Hello, everyone. We have to discuss today the line of lenses known as Pentax, known as Takumar. Just an incredible line of lenses. The lens I'm holding today, which we will review, is the Asahi Optical Company made in Japan lens. It's the Takumar f5.6 400mm prime lens with an M42 mount, all metal construction, built-in lens hood, and built-in tripod mount. The mount on the camera is what I consider a universal mount. It's M42 screw mount, where you would just add an adapter for your camera. The adapter I'm using today, I bought it, not a sponsor. It's the Pulitzer M42 adapter to Leica L mount body. So this is the lens and this is the camera that I mounted it to. This is the Leica SL 24 megapixel mirrorless digital camera type 601. I don't know why Leica has to give it two names, Leica SL and TYP 601. If you guys know why they use type TYP and then a number for most of their cameras, put it in the comments below. Okay, so we are going to be looking at these lenses. Okay, this one is the 400mm prime. Now, I took about 9 or so photographs with this lens just yesterday. Here in New York, I went to what's known as a boat graveyard. What a boat graveyard is right after World War II, out in Staten Island in the Arthur Kill, which is a river which separates New York from New Jersey. There's a location at the end of Staten Island in the Tottenville area, I guess, where metal barges, ships, and there's word that there's a non-nuclear submarine buried in the mud there. What it is this location I went to, it's a scrapyard, not only for scrap on land, but for boats. Boats are cut up and used for scrap too. However, since the boats have been in the mud since the late 40s, there's even some ferries there too. They've sunk in the mud, and I just don't know how they're ever going to be reclaimed and recycled. But it makes a great photo location that you can go to and take pictures of some old, rusted hulks of ships. All right, back to the lens. So, Asahi Optical, okay? You're going to hear a few words: Asahi, Takumar, and Pentax. They're all interchangeable, okay? So it starts off with the Asahi Optical Company in 1923 in Japan, all right? They start making lenses and cameras. They made one of the earliest cameras that I could find that they made was a 1953 Asahi Flex. And here's a picture of that camera. Now, Asahi Pentax Takumar, they are probably most famous for these three things: their lenses, the Pentax Spotmatic, and the Asahi Pentax 6.7 or 6x7. Classic cameras, which are sought after, especially the 6.7 and the 6x7, 6x7. They're sought after. That's a medium format camera, and they fetch hundreds of dollars. And the 6x7 Asahi Pentax medium format film camera I've seen sell for over $1,000. All right. Now, the 6x7 came out in 1969. The Spotmatic came out in 1964. And who do we have to thank for the line of Takumar lenses? Well, his name is Takumar Kajiwara. Okay. He was a Japanese American photographer who started this great line of lenses. Now, this particular lens, okay, it's known as the Takumar, the 400mm prime f5.6, runs for about $150 to $200. Okay, it has a clickable right here f-stop ring, okay, from f5.6 to f45. When's the last time you heard f-stop going to f45? Okay. But what I found about this lens, even though it's huge, it was no problem manual focusing. It's a completely manual lens, okay? It just has focusing ring here, very smooth, your clickable aperture dial here, and your built-in lens shade, okay? I found no trouble focusing it on the Leica SL because I implemented two things. I implemented the focus peaking, where your image gets an outline of any color you pick. When it lights up, when your image lights up, okay, like around here, that means it's in focus. When that light, when the color disappears, it's out of focus, all right? And holding the camera and the lens was just no problem because this lens was made for photographers. It was made for the serious photographer, okay? Now, the photos you're going to watch throughout this video were all taken the same way. They were taken aperture priority, f8, because as you know, many videos, f8 is the sharpest aperture for most lenses ever made. Okay, it was manual focus. Now remember, this lens does not have optical image stabilization inside, and Leica SL does not have IBIS, in-body image stabilization. So, besides going aperture priority f8, my ISO had to be kind of high. All right, I used about 400, which gave me, on that bright day, you can see through the photographs, it was a very bright day, it gave me shutter speeds up around 1/1000th of a second, which is what you need when you're dealing with a lens so long and you have a little bit of wind. And I do not use a tripod for 99.9% of my work, because I was trained when I went to photography school in the 70s. You learned how to take a photograph. Slow, steady squeezes, let the shutter go off as a surprise, never jerk the camera. And that's how you take good pictures. And you put your elbow into your chest or your stomach, okay? That makes a nice brace for the lens, your camera, and you just squeeze the shutter. That's how you take a nice steady shot. Now, this lens is, like I said, about $150 to $200. If you were to go and buy a modern 400mm prime with VR, vibration reduction, or optical image stabilization, okay, built in, and autofocus and electronics that set the aperture, let me tell you, you're looking at about $2,300 compared to $100 to $200. Okay, this is just a gorgeous lens. Old lenses never die. Just take care of them. Okay, and if you're gonna buy one, make sure that the seller says no haze. All right, a little bit of fungus in the front, no problem. A little dust inside, no problem. You do not want a lens with haze. They might call it fog. Don't get it. And if they don't list it, you contact them before you buy it and say, does it have haze? Does it have fog? All right. Those are the two things you don't want. Okay. So let's get into it and let's look at the photographs. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button. Now let's look at the photos right now.